Hi there, my name's Emily Craven and I'm going to be teaching the ebook for beginners course at the South Australian Writers Centre on the 31st of August in 2013. Now, my name's Emily Craven, as I said, and I am the author of Ebook Revolution, the Ultimate Guide to Ebook Success, and The Grand Adventures of Madeline Kane, Photographer Extraordinaire. Now, in my course, I'm going to be taking you through how to set up your ebook empire, as it were. But today's video is all about giving you some initial steps to the ebook revolution and ebooks in general. So what are the three most important things that you need for ebooks? First is to know what you are good at and what you need to hire somebody else to do. Now, I know that I'm a good writer, however, I also know that I'm too close to my work, which means that I need to hire somebody else to edit my work. At the same time, I also need to hire somebody else to do my covers because I'm not a creative designer. I have not done a creative design course, and as much as I love looking at book covers in a bookstore, that doesn't necessarily mean that I am the best creator of book covers. So I highly recommend that you take a look at what your skill set is and then what you need to outsource. With editing, it can be as simple as going to a writer's group and sharing your editing expertise with other people, and so that they can edit you in turn and improve your manuscript gradually by group editing. Or you can go out and hire an editor. Now, of course, there are a strange society of editors, which can be a little bit expensive. However, there are also freelancer websites such as elance.com, microlancer.com, odesk.com, where you can go through a whole list of providers and the different people who have used them and see if you can find somebody that matches what you want to do in the price range that you want. The same goes for covers. Now, the covers that I showed you before on my books were all covers that were about £100 each, which equates to around about 120 Australian dollars. So you can get covers from anything from $35 up to $350. So it all depends on your price range. Now, the first point of call that I would recommend is if you go to a man called Joel Freelander's The Book Designer website, and he has every month the ebook design awards, and from there you can see the best up and coming ebook cover design artists, what they're doing, how they're winning their competitions, and what are the essential elements that you need for an ebook cover. So that's the first step, making sure that anything that you are not an expert at, you realize that and you outsource it to somebody else. The second thing that you should know about ebooks and the ebook revolution is that there are three different main types of ebook formats. One is the EPUB file. Now, EPUB is read by things like iPads, Kobos, Sony, Nook. Most of the generic e-readers will read an EPUB file. Then you have the Mobi format. Now, the only device that reads Mobi files is the Amazon Kindle. So Amazon is one of the biggest ebook markets, and even though only one device reads that Mobi format, it is essential that you have it in both EPUB and Mobi to get all of your markets. And the final one is PDF. Most of you would have used Adobe PDFs before, and it is again one of the most widely read ebook formats online, and it's really worthwhile having one of the versions as being your PDF version. And also PDFs can then be used to create your print-on-demand copies of your book, like this one here, which came from a PDF file. Now, the best way and the free way that you can create your own EPUB, PDF, and Mobi files at once without having to know any coding, without having to use any weird programs, is by using a great free tool called pressbooks.com. Now, pressbooks.com is what I use to create all of my ebooks and all of my print-on-demand files. It is a free tool, and it uses the WordPress code. So if any of you have a WordPress blog, it looks exactly like the back end of a WordPress blog. And from there, you can create beautiful, clean EPUB files that have separate chapters and don't run onto each other. And that is the best tool that I've seen yet to create these files. And that's what we'll be using in our ebook for beginners course on the weekend at the SA Writers Centre. Now, the final thing concerns marketing. You cannot leave your book out in the cold. You'll hear many people say this, and there are a whole host of different ways that people recommend you market your book. But the one thing that I would say is essential is that you need to, A, source reviewers who review your genre. That is the most important thing, hands down. You need reviews before you start pushing your book out into the world. And even one of the great ways to do that is to see whether you can get colleagues, friends, family to review a book prior to you making your big marketing launch push, as it were. Anything from 10 to 15 reviews is a good starting point before you really start your marketing in earnest. And those reviews can't all be 5-star reviews. People know bullshit from a mile away. So you've got to make sure that these are considered reviews that aren't just gushing about how good the book is, but it talks about why it's good, gives examples about why it's good, and also tells people why they may not like it or it might not be to their taste. So those sorts of reviews are the ones that people will be looking for and will find most useful when they're coming to buy your book. So that's one thing with marketing. And the second thing is that if you can create a platform of readers before you launch your book, you will have much greater initial success than if you're starting cold. So if any of you have heard about, the big publishing book launches, how they have a big book launch in the bookstores, and how they have the big marketing push on, the side of billboards and on buses and things like that. Those are the sorts of things, and that sort of hype is only reserved for those higher authors. So for us normal authors who have, a smaller readership to begin with, you need to make sure that you have good connections with the people that you are wanting to buy your book with. So if you have a platform like a blog, if you have a very good social media rapport, whether it's on Twitter, whether it's on Facebook, Pinterest, Goodreads, doesn't matter. The more connections that you have before you launch your book, the better. So the top 3 tips for today: making sure that you outsource anything that you're not an expert at. 2, the different types of ebook formats there are and where you can use your free tool, which is pressbooks.com. And then 3, marketing. Make sure you have reviews and make sure that you have a group of readers that are there to give your book a push when you launch. So that's all from me, Emily Craven, and I hope to see some of you guys at ebook for beginners on the 31st of August.